Well, hello everybody, and welcome back here on a very wet and quite cold Eiersholt farm. It's still mid-autumn, and we had a little bit of a dry spell overnight, but the rain is back on, and actually, if we just step into the inside here, because it's too wet outside. But if we take a quick look at the weather forecast, it's getting a little bit concerning actually. So as you can see, basically all of today and quite a big chunk of tomorrow and subsequent days are pretty much rain with a few interruptions overnight, but where it's cold, so you don't really get the wetness drying off the crop. So we're in a bit of a pickle because our millet field is ready to harvest, and we still have a large field of corn, maize just up on the other side of the hill there. That's supposed to be getting harvested in late autumn, but even that could be getting a bit tricky. However, just because it's raining doesn't mean we don't have things to do. In fact, we have quite a few things to do. In the last episode we started some seeding. We got winter wheat put in on the large field 15. We started putting in oilseed radish. We got one more field of oilseed radish to cover. It is one of our former grass fields that has been ploughed up. So we're going to hop in the Valtra. Now the field that we're going to is not particularly large, so I don't think we need to fill up any more famous last words. We don't have any more oilseed radish seed right now, so I have to run down to the shop. I'm pretty sure we should be okay. But we're going to get down there first and get this cedar going here. I'll just zoom out a bit so we don't get hit in the face with the cedar here. It's a little distance down, but as you can see, we're putting a few hours on our new Valtra here, which is all nice. I guess the ground is starting to get quite soggy. In here I have seeded with alfalfa, which is why the ground has now turned this kind of grass green. But it has just been seeded, so we're not expecting any significant growth this side of winter, obviously. Over here on the right, there's our corn. That's getting very wet right now. I guess all we can do right now is cross our fingers and hope the weather improves a bit more than what the forecast is suggesting. I've just realized I've left the farm with not an awful lot of fuel in the tank on this Valtra anymore, but like I said, it's not a particular big field, so I think we should be able to make it. It's just down here. And again, here on the right, there is our millet. It has fully grown. It is ready to harvest if it ever gets dry enough. I really hope it doesn't start rotting soon, because we have a bit of time still. We can harvest all the way up to early winter if it becomes necessary. But best laid plans. So the field in on our left already has got oilseed radish on it, and a field just across from here just got a, let's see, actually we can go to the entrance down here straight across instead. I ploughed this field up, we cut grass on it, and then we ploughed it up after that. The plan is to put oilseed radish on this and then do corn in late spring, so there'll be plenty of time for the oilseed radish to get established in here. And obviously this is a direct drill seeder, but today it's just going to be running over plowed ground here. So we'll get this underway, and then we'll head back up to the farm. A couple of other jobs that we can be getting on with as well. So one of the other jobs we want to get on with today is to use a bit of our slurry. Again, it's not really ideal to be running this out while it's raining, especially as hard as it is right now. We'll leave it for a little bit, but if it carries on, I think we might just crack on anyway. At least in game technical terms, it's okay to fertilize during the rain. We got the twin tires onto the Zarian here. We got a full slurry tanker sitting here. But before we do that, we have another job which might also get a little bit tough on the machinery. But we got one more field to plow up. Given the enormous quantities of grass we got last, we are going to be plowing up the other grass field down by the machinery shop as well. That former grass field is also intended, if we got the time, we want to put oilseed radish on it, and then that is going to become our new potato field in the coming year, obviously sometime in spring, that we're going to be planting the potatoes on it. It's a little bit bigger than the current field we got potatoes on, but it's not absolutely massive at the same time. But obviously, in order to seed down on something like that, we are going to be ripping it up first with one of our subsoilers here. So we're going to get our T7 down and tending to that job. But that job is going to take longer, and we're getting a bit low on fuel here. Ideally, we need this tractor in to get serviced. I got the two John Deere tractors serviced in the workshop. So next up, I think it will be our New Holland tractors. They are running kind of low on condition as well, but not desperately so. So we'll just get some fuel in this thing first, and we'll get it down to the field. So field 15 over on the right here. Oh, just gotta be a bit careful because we stick out quite a lot with this subsoiler, so we need to pull over for oncoming traffic. But the field over on our right, that is our winter wheat. That has now been fully seeded up, and we run a layer of fertilizer onto it. So in money terms, we're sitting roughly at about the same as at the end of the last episode, but in between I actually sold a whole bunch of milk, but also had to buy in some fertilizer. So we spent about 60,000 euros on fertilizer, and we do have some sitting in the silo right now. But obviously we have a lot of slurry. We also have digestate up at the BGA. So where possible, we'll try and use what we got, because the fertilizer pellets are a lot more expensive. But occasionally it will be faster and more efficient to run over. We have our Case Titan spreader. So this is the field here. I actually just went past the first entrance because I was jabbering. But there's another one down on the other side here. It hasn't really started regrowing after the cut very much, but we'll get it ripped up, and then we'll get a seeder run over it at some point. That is a little bit less urgent, but we'll get started on this job. So we got the ploughing underway, and I just thought I'd show you, I bought in a new straw blower as well, so we have been spending a bit of money. We got the Gyrox big Comfort here. It's already a little bit dirty, but if we hop up here, as you can see, these sides fold down, so there is room for a absolute ton of bales in here. You can in fact fit 8 large square bales into this one. So now that we're up to a lot more animals, we are close to 100 cows, and the pigs, well, they've kept on breeding, so we're now up to 250 pigs. So this is going to come in handy. We've already started putting bedding down because it is actually quite cold already. So we can see it's 6 degrees today and we're in mid-autumn, so it could be a cold autumn, early winter. I kind of hope not, because we still want to get this harvest in. Anyway, one more job here on the farm is to get some feed mixed for the animals. We're not dramatically short, but given the weather, we might as well get it done. And we are getting a fuel warning for our Valtra, so I probably should have refueled it. We might have to go back and pick up our truck and bring our Thunder Creek down. I can't remember if it's actually got any fuel left in it, but we'll have a quick look. Not a drop in the Thunder Creek. We're going to take it down to the fuel station because there isn't that much left in our tank here on the farm, and the Valtra will be able to keep going for a little while. So we'll send this truck down to the fuel station and we'll get that refilled. We're not that short on money. And then in the meantime, as I mentioned before, we will be paying attention to a little bit of feed mix. Actually, before we get our tractor, even though it's cold and wet out here, we'll go over and check here on the pig food. So we still have 142,000 litres of pig food, so we're not dramatically short, but we might as well get the silo emptied of the last bit of last year's corn at least. And if I just turn this machine on, it gets a little bit loud, but we get to see the full display. So we have 0 grain and 17 maize. So we'll need some grain, either barley or wheat, and we'll need some maize. So we'll get this opened up, and we'll get one of our new grain trailers, the new agroliners, and bring over a bit of maize and a bit of grain. I don't think it's going to be full trailer loads because we don't have that much left in the silos of corn, but we'll see how we get on. We'll use the 6R here for this little carding job. So it's quite a more sizable trailer we got here now, but obviously it will make the carding jobs easier, both to and from fields and even in a situation like this. Yeah, so we got 33,000 litres of corn left, so we might as well get that brought over to the pigs and get that tipped in, and then we'll bring over a little bit of barley afterwards as well. So 33,000 litres is obviously a lot. It's going to make quite a lot of pig feed, which is good because that means we won't have to worry about it for a while. But compared to what's going to potentially should come in from the harvest, yeah, that's the big concern. This is our last corn, so we have a healthy amount of pig food. We might be able to squeeze through a year. It's going to be very tight, and we're probably going to have to sell off some of the animals. But we could theoretically possibly squeeze through a year if we keep the pigs down to a couple of hundred, with the amount of feed that we have and that we're creating right now. So we'll get this tipped in, and then we'll get the barley over as well. So we'll do a similar amount of barley, sort of roughly around 3/4 full on the trailer. Just over 35,000 litres, so that's about there. That'll do. I can't quite remember the mixing proportions at the feed mixer, but we'll see. Obviously something else is probably going to reach 0 now before either the grain or the maize. We did put a full load of potatoes in earlier in the year, but we've obviously been mixing quite a lot of pig feed, so we did need the potatoes as well. Corn and potatoes were both really targeted to go into this pig food, since we are now breeding pigs at some pace here on the farm, but we'll have to see how it goes, I guess. So that's us done filling, and just have a little look at what we got. So we still got 14,000 litres of potato, and I think that's the lowest amount that gets taken in. We're a little bit low on oil seeds. We do have a few sunflower seeds left as well, but we'll leave this mixing for now and see how we get to it, and we'll head over and we'll see. I actually don't know if we can use this trailer. I think we can use this trailer for hay as well, because we need to pick up some hay from our drying plant and get that into the feed mixer for total mix ration for the cows. And hay's running in just fine. 45,000 litres. We'll probably need a couple of loads over here because we put some surplus straw bales in, and we've been putting in a little bit of surplus silage from cleaning up the cows as well. But we need to get this plant put on as well. As you can see, we have even more TMR ready mixed. We're sitting at 354,000 litres, so we're not desperately short. Again, we're pretty much at a year's supply there, but we might as well get some of these jobs done since we're limited. So what we got? We got 96,000 litres of silage and a lot of straw, so a couple of loads of hay will definitely not go amiss. So with the kind of amounts we have, there's no point in breaking open either of these two silage bins. We got one with about 450,000 litres of silage sitting in it, and the other one is at 1.4 million litres. So yeah, we're not short of silage. We'll fill this up once more. We'll leave the plant running so it can bring in. We still had some grass sitting that hasn't rotted away, so we'll let that work its way through and get that in and dried as well. In the meantime, I'll just reverse down here a little bit so that we can take the shortcut over to the feed mixer here. I think this is the first time in a long time playing with Seasons where I've genuinely wondered whether we're actually gonna lose the harvest. The forecast is so bad. It's a really poor outlook right now. So this could be a big challenge. It's not gonna bring the farm completely to its knees, but obviously livestock is an important part that's increasingly making some earnings for this farm. We have grain that's sitting in silos. Some of that is intended for selling, and so from that perspective we can sell grain and buy in fodder for the animals if it becomes necessary. It just means that we won't be expanding or growing the farm quite as quickly as we would have liked, but I suppose that's the nature of farming. Unpredictable sometimes. That's our trailer back in the dry. The rain is just relentless. We're going to put our 6R back under cover as well. We got thunder rumbling in the distance as well. So the only other job I really had lined up for today was to run that slurry out where we had seeded alfalfa already. And I don't think you would actually do that in these kind of weather conditions. So I think we're going to leave it for today. I would like to have been able to do a little bit more, but sometimes the weather is just not with you. We are sitting ready, but I suspect the forecast is showing that we might get a little bit of dry conditions overnight, where we could take the slurry wagon out and at least, okay, it'll run it onto wet ground, but it's not going to rain straight off the field and into the stream right next to it. I'm pretty sure that in many places it might even be illegal to do that. So, apologies if the episode was a little bit downhearted here, because rumbling thunder, endless rain, cold autumn, some serious risk to some of our harvest. But don't worry, Eiersholt will survive. We will get through this. We are putting crops in for next year. But with a picture of a grounded slurry spreader, I think we're going to call this episode. It'll have been a little bit shorter than some of the other ones. Sorry for that, but if we get a break in weather, we will be on harvest as soon as humanly possible. I'll keep a very, very close eye on it. And if it's still raining in the next episode, I guess we'll be doing some more groundwork, and I will be skipping through some days to see where we get to, if that ends up being the case. So, thank you for watching, and see you again soon from Overcord Gaming.